Well, hello again everyone. The van's been up on ramps here all week and I've not had a chance to get back on this diesel heater project. So Saturday again now. Let's get back to it. Now the first thing I think is to finish that electrical connection. The leisure battery is still disconnected from last time. I've got myself some connector blocks. So back under the van we go. As I always say, I am not a trained or qualified mechanic or indeed diesel heater installer. These are not intended as instructional videos, they're just vlogs for your entertainment as we do bits and pieces to our 1990 motorhome. If you have any doubts or concerns about working on your own vehicle, you should contact a trained or qualified mechanic. Righto, let's get these connections done. There's a fair bit of wire here that's spare, which I would have trimmed off, but this fuse holder is crimped on at the very end, and if I cut it off, I'd have to get a new one and crimp it on. So I'm just going to cable tie this up out of the way for the moment. Now, Mr. Ginge has recommended that I check the electrical connections actually worked before I go much further. So we're just going to connect up the control panel for the heater and then reconnect the leisure battery briefly, just to double check that. Right, so over at the control panel, I'm going to switch it to caravan battery. Got the green light, that's a good sign. Try the pump. Yeah, that's working. The lights. Hey! So yeah, all seems well there. Let's just see if we've got power to that heater. Well, straight away, I don't know if you can make it out, but there is a little light on this on and off button. So if I just... Yeah, whee! Oh, don't appear to be able to turn it off. Turn it off. Not sure why it's not turning off. That could just be because it's trying to prime itself and it won't let you turn itself off straight away, hopefully. Anyway, I'm going to turn off the caravan power so we don't muck anything up. Yeah, that battery is low. Look, that's telling me it's low. Of course, this is wired straight into the power supply without a switch, so I'm going to go and disconnect that leisure battery again. There we go, that's all disconnected again. Now, if you've been following this, you'll know that we've had a little bit of a debate about what to do about fueling this diesel heater. I was quite keen on the idea of connecting it to the vehicle tank, because this tank that came with the heater is huge, and we couldn't really find anywhere sensible to fit it. Didn't like the idea particularly of it being inside the van. Now, folk in the comments were a bit divided about connecting it to the vehicle tank. Lots of people thought it was a great idea, and I still think that is a very good idea, and I think that's perfectly possible. We may end up doing that later, but lots of people were dead against it for various reasons. And just to get things moving, what I've done is I've bought this much smaller 5 litre tank. I think this is a 15 litre tank. I'm going to mount this in the gas locker, which of course is just behind where the heater is, so it's nice and convenient. Everything will all be in the same place. But first, I've got to clear out the gas locker again. So there we go. The idea is to fit the tank in like that, really. And I think we should still be able to get a petrol station diesel pump in there to top it up, which of course will be pretty handy. If I'd mounted it right inside the van there where we were thinking earlier, I'd have had to sort of double handle it with jerry cans or something, wouldn't I? Well, this little tank comes with some fittings inside, and obviously the primary thing is this little outlet, I suppose you'd call it. So I'm going to choose a point to drill, and I think what I'm going to do is drill maybe here somewhere. There's no obvious place to drill anywhere on the tank, so I assume we can just go anywhere we like. So it's going to be better on a flat surface, of course, so I'm going to go there, slightly up from the bottom so we don't pick up sludge and stuff all the time. And yeah, I'll just step up the drills until I get to the right one. I think it's either going to be 7.5 or 8, I think. So now, of course, I've got to get this through the back there with one of the little rubber washers on it. I assume that's what the rubber washers are for. Again, this comes with no instructions either, so yeah, you're kind of on your own with all of this, really. But yeah, that looks like that's what that rubber washer's for. So I've got to get that through the back there. So to do that, I'm going to drop my string through. This would be easier with wire, but for some reason I can't find a suitable bit of wire. I've just got to get the string the other end. Where are you, string? Get some more in there. Okay, string's out there. Now I'll thread the string through here. A nice, what we'll do actually, tie it round here, because there's plenty of room in that hole. There we go. And all I have to do in theory is cut the string and pull that through. Now I'll put the other rubber washer and the nut on and tighten it up. Don't want it super tight really, because it's only on the plastic there. Now I've got these little fellas to fix the tank to the side of the gas locker there. Now at the bottom of these holes where the fixings go through, there is a little sort of plastic sprue thing. There's not an actual hole, it's just like a little knockout thing. So I'm just going to drill that from the back, just so we don't have any incidents trying to put those self-drilling screws through and actually penetrate the fuel container part of the tank. Now I'm hoping the fuel line can come up through this dropout vent in the gas locker, so I'm just going to go underneath the van again and try and poke that through. So, well, the fuel line was too fat to poke through that mesh, so I've cut a hole in the mesh, but obviously That's left a bit of a jagged edge. I don't want to just run the hose through that, because that jagged edge will slowly wear through this hose, I'm sure. But fortunately, this fill hose I bought is exactly the right diameter for our little fill hose to fit through. So I'm going to cut a short section of that and wedge it into the mesh to pass my fill line through. Right, it's going to be easier, I think, to connect that fuel line to the tank before I fix the tank. So I'm just going to do that now. Right, now let's fit the tank in the locker. Well, I'll tell you, the problem with here is that there appears to be absolutely nothing behind this. It's just a floppy, very thin sheet of steel or aluminium. So yeah, there's nothing behind it for the screw to bite into. So the screw's just spinning round. It's drilled its little self-drilling hole, but yeah, it's not actually biting. So I'm going to need to do something different there again, aren't I? Well, I've got this nice sturdy bit of aluminium checker plate I found in the garage. It's a little bit too long, but I think if I cut it down and then maybe pop rivet that to this, I think that might be galvanized steel. Not sure. Yeah, I think it probably is. Anyway, pop rivet it to that, and then this should be thick enough to hold those self-drilling screws. I'll just mark it roughly where we want to cut it. I think our lovely guillotine should be man enough to cut that for us. Right, I'm just going to measure out and drill now for those pop rivets. Right, let's get that plate fitted into the cupboard now. Right, now we should be able to fit that tank in. That should do. So now we've got to remember that this diesel line goes directly from the tank to the diesel heater. And that's obviously not right, because it's got to go through the pump first, doesn't it? So we've got to connect it to the pump. First though, it's got to go through this fuel filter. So I'm going to cut that into the line now and clip it in. Right, now my supply from the tank goes onto the bottom of the pump, so let's cut and connect that next. And of course the other end goes on the top. I'm just going to cable tie this diesel line to the air intake hose because I don't want it coming anywhere near the hot exhaust. I think I'm going to put these somewhere a bit better too. I'm going to cable tie them behind this bar so they're a bit more shielded from spray and stuff. I'll get some insulating tape and cover over that chocolate block now too. Right, I think that'll do, at least for the moment. Let's go and fill her up with diesel and see if we can get her lit. Well, that was a bit disappointing. Obviously I couldn't film and show you because it's in a petrol station, so obviously you're not allowed to use your mobile phone to film yourself filling up with diesel. But anyway, the pump just wouldn't go properly into there to fill it. It was just too tight. So I had to buy a filler can and fill it with diesel, and it's now in the back footstep. So yeah, that's a bit disappointing. I hoped that would work, but I was a little bit dubious because it is all a little bit tight in there. Anyway, let's go home and I'll show you. Right, well, here we are back home. And one of the first things I'm going to do, I'm going to put the van onto the electric hookup at home and then get the leisure battery on charge. Because if we want to try this diesel heater out, give it a fair crack and actually connect it to a charged battery, probably be a good thing. Oh, well, this is a bit of a problem. The bonnet release seems to have jammed. It's just not doing anything. Yeah, that is a problem. It's stuck fast. Try pressing down on it quite hard. No, it's stuck solid. I could perhaps try and get some mole grips on the end of the cable there and see if I could pull it any better. Well, no, I've had some grips on it, been pulling as hard as I could, and it's just like something's jammed. The bonnet's just not even showing the slightest sign of releasing. Okay, whew, I managed to get it open just by bouncing as hard as I could on the front of the bonnet, and eventually it popped open, but I'm going to have a look at that catch later on. Right, let's get this leisure battery on charge then. There we go, the leisure battery is now charging. Right, let's have a look at that diesel tank then. So yeah, it's just a little bit too high to get the petrol station pump in. I suppose it should have been obvious. I could move it down a bit. I didn't want to move it too low and put any strain on this LPG pipe. That's why I mounted it up there. May have to think again on that, but let's get some diesel in it anyway. Yeah, that's not so easy, is it? Definitely gonna have to rethink this perhaps. Anyway, let's get it. Well, it appears nice and sturdy anyway, and doesn't seem to be leaking from that outlet, which is good. There is some good here. Right, so really we should now be able to fire her up. We need to refer to the knob panel instructions. So manual fuel filling, I think that means priming. In the off state, turn the knob clockwise till all the peripheral red indicators light up. Ugh. So turn it clockwise till all the red right. They've gone off again. Perhaps you have to be quick. Press and hold the off button for more than 3 seconds to start manual oil pumping. Right, so you obviously got to be quick. So we've got to do that till it's red, then press the off button for up to 3 seconds. Oh yeah, and I can hear the pump. I can hear that ticking that everyone keeps on about. Don't seem that bad actually. When all the air is discharged from the oil circuit, press the off button lightly to stop pumping oil. Well, how do we know? I suppose we've got to go underneath. Well, in actual fact, you can see there is still air in there. I mean, there's a lot of air even in the filter. I wonder if I take the cap off. That'll help things along. Well, this may take a while, folks. Well, the pump has stopped on its own, but I'm still seeing some air in there, so I'm going to run that cycle again. So the pump stopped again. Everything underneath the van is full of oil. It's just this section here, which has lots of air in it. I've tried squeezing it a bit, and yeah, not really doing a fantastic amount of good there, but let's run that cycle again. Well, I don't see that getting any better really, as long as we just keep repeating that same cycle. I wonder if the thing will actually light and work. I mean, it's full of diesel right up to the pump, so maybe we can run it and get rid of the air that way. What do you reckon? Let's give it a try. So we'll press the on button. Nothing happens. Alright, so we have to lightly press the on, then we have to press it and hold it, and then something will change. Oh, got whirring noises. When it's blowing air out of there, we have red lights. So we press and hold this to switch the temperature. Oh yeah, so now it wants to heat, I think. Look at that, look, we've got, as Nikki said, smelly smoke coming out the exhaust, which is marvellous. Don't think it's on fire, no.
You said that once before.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure it's not actually on fire. It's just, this is just the God. Yeah. This is our new environmentally friendly heating.
Yeah, it really isn't.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's just running a bit rich, and that'll ease off a little bit of that smokiness. Oh, and it's lovely and toasty warm in here. Splendid. Let's turn it down a little bit. Don't need it on full chat, do we? Yeah, she's calmed down a bit out here now, but it's still a little bit smoky. Right, well that has had a fair old test now, so I am now going to turn it off. But everyone's told me you have to whack it right up to stop it sitting up before you turn it off. So let's whack her right up. I don't know how long for, presumably not for very long. We'll whack it right up and then we'll turn her off. No, well, when you turn it off, it goes bonkers. Maybe we have to... Is it going to go off? Well, that's weird. I don't appear to be able to turn it off. It's still hammering away. Yeah, maybe it's just on some wind down setting. I'm going to leave it for a while and see if it does go off. Right, yeah, a few minutes later, I've left Mr. Ginge to keep an eye on it, and yeah, it has stopped blowing away to itself. So, yeah, it does turn itself off after a little while after pressing that off button. Good stuff, Ginge, eh? Well, that was good progress today, I think. Before I pack away, I really need to sort out that bonnet catch. Yeah, it's just a bit sort of dry and manky, really, isn't it? I think it just needs cleaning up a little bit and then greasing. So as always, I'm going to clean it up with the good old Plus Gas. And a good grease up. Well, I'm not going to shut that bonnet now till tomorrow because I'm going to leave that battery charging overnight so that gets a good charge in it. And then we'll carry on with more work on boxing in that heater in the morning. So that's all for today, and hope you enjoyed that. I'm very glad that we got the heat on in the end, and yeah, very pleased with it all, really. Well, that's all for now. If you enjoyed this video, please share it with your friends. Give the like button a press. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to see some more.